Lord Kala, I am the witness of the three bodies. Question. I am the witness of three bodies. What are these three bodies? They are gross, subtle, causal. And I am witness of the gross body. Now, what is the gross body? Comes the question number 40. Answer. Through the interplay of the 5 great elements, the resultant 25 elements comprise the gross body. Question. What are the 5 great elements? Answer. The 5 great elements are Ākāsha, space, Vāyu, Teja, fire, Jala, water, Prithvi, earth. Question. Which are the 25 elements that are the consequence of the interplay of the 5 great elements? Now this is now something which is going to take you to another level of understanding. Answer. The 5 elements of Ākāsha are. Now, how are these 5 elements interwoven with one another? Now, if they are interwoven, then this means that in this very body, we should have the Ākāsha and the water and the Jala. Jala or water is the same thing, or air or Prithvi, the earth. So, how is it present in the body? Now, here comes the 5. Now, every element, these 5 elements, now each element has a further 5 classifications into it. Or should we say subdivisions of these elements? So we begin with the Ākāsha. Ākāsha has 5 subdivision elements in it. First, Kāma, desire for sensory gratification. Krodha, anger. Shoka, grief. Moha, attachment. And Bhaya, fear. The 5 elements of Vāyu are Chalan, Valan, Dhavan, Prasaran, Ākunchan. Sanskrit. Moving, twisting, running, expansion and contraction. Okay, just let me go with little more details about this Ākāsha element. Kāma is the sensory gratification. Now, Ākāsha means emptiness. So your mind feels the emptiness and then it wants to fill in it. Now, when it wants to fill in it through the sense of touch, then the physical intimacy's desire will arise in the mind. In the body too. Now we are talking about just the body, but see, when we say body and mind, it's like this, that mind is the unseen part of the gross body, and we can say that the body is the gross part of the mind. Hence, what goes on in the mind will get reflected in the body. So if you begin, say, for the say sexual craving, if somebody would have, say, now that happened in the mind, but most of you are very experienced people, so you know it from your own experience that when the desire of sex arises in the mind, aren't there some changes which begin to occur in the physical body? There are going to be the hormonal changes, there are going to be the faster heartbeat, there is going to be the release of hormones, there is going to be release of a very agitated breaths which get, which kind of, and also, you know, even the body begins to smell differently, which we call the pheromones. So when a man is in a heat, his body will release these pheromones, and whichever woman he is interested in, that woman can sniff it. Actually, we are all dogs in one way. Now this is a very animalistic thing. Through the smell, the pheromones creates this circle which will attract that person into it, which will lead to physical intimacy, which will lead to the satisfaction of the genitalia and also of the mind and also of the skin. So Ākāsha is, there is something missing and now I need something. Now, Krodha, when there is this emptiness and the sensory satisfaction is not possible, it will give rise to anger. You know, because we have started with the Kāma as per the Vichar Chandrodaya, I'll just maybe make it as a base. Like if somebody is in a dire need of, say, sex and is not getting it, this person is going to be a really frustrated person. So much anger would be there. Now the person might think, oh, I never got right food, seat in the bus, seat in the train, promotion, this and that. But actually it is a very different reason for that anger. It's a dissatisfaction. The Ākāsha element is working. Now because people do not have this understanding, so there are two ways in which, normally either they indulge too much into it. Now that too comes with many consequences, because the body with which you wish to get the satisfaction, that body has its limitation. Hence, when you are too much indulgent in sexual activity, will lead to the weakness of your nervous system and the weakness of your mind, because you are losing so much of the very important virya, the seminal fluids, which were the core to run the body systems. And in our Shastras, we also relate the virya with buddhi. They say a person who is too much indulgent into sex can't be very intelligent. There is a whole subject about this, but I don't wish to go into that detail. But it has been observed in thousands of years in our ashrams and gurukulas that why the students were asked to not go into even the thinking or self-satisfying or indulging into the very sexual act. Why it was prohibited? Because the need to store and protect the seminal fluid, which is going to give rise to good energies and which will give a great boost to the intellect of that person. So if somebody has to be appreciated, then that person would be called a viryavan person. Viryavan matlab the one who has protected his seminal fluids. As I have said it earlier also, sex was never meant to be seen as something of recreational activity. It was never a recreational activity, and giving all the due respect to it, but it was used by the householders also, one, to procreate child. It was not for getting joy or getting happiness. It was not that this was undermined or disrespected, but it was said that there has to be some balance and there has to be right time for it. And for a student especially, who was called a brahmachari, a celibate. So a student had to be in celibacy. That was the rule. Because his body and his mind and his intelligence has to bloom and they have to work with it. And that's not the time. And until you get married, you just behave decent. And once you are married, even then there was this regimentation. So, but the Ākāsha element is the one which creates this sensory desire. Now, when you eat food, you are again gratifying the flesh of your tongue. It is also a sensory gratification. When you see something great, it's the gratification of the eyes. When you hear something, it's the gratification of the ears. Now, what are ears? Ears are hollow. There's a space there in the ears. And mind wishes to seek pleasure. So there is emptiness in the mind also. So the mind emptiness will propel the sense to have the gratification from that particular object. So Ākāsha has element of Kāma, Krodha and Shoka. Now Shoka is grief. When you don't get what you want, obviously the grief is going to come in. And when the grief comes in, the person is kind of, what they say, I'm empty in my mind now. They have that, what you call, blank look. A very grieved person will not have a sparky and vibrant look. Will have a, this empty eyes, dispirited eyes. The 5 elements of the Vāyu are moving. When you move, when you twist, when you run, when you expand, and when you contract. Now, this is the movement which you do with your limbs, eyes, neck, legs, arms, hands, feet. But this is also talking about the Vāyu which is running your whole system. You eat food. What takes it down? It's the movement of the Vāyu which is taking it down. But when you hiccup comes or when you belch, is air coming upward. What is taking the food down to the stomach and it is now churning, the twisting which happens in the stomach. That's Vāyu. Then it's getting pushed to the small intestine and the gallbladder is pushing and the liver is giving the enzyme. So much of, moving and twisting is happening even inside the contraction. The peristalsis movement, when the bowel movement happens, the feces is moving. It's like a snaky movement. Your intestines are actually like a snake only. It's a hollow, very gooey, very soft, like a snake. And the feces is moving in it, and the urine is moving in it, and the hormones are getting secreted. And so the contraction of the organs, your heart and your liver, and the contractions happening inside, the expansions, the twisting, the moving, it's all elements of Vāyu. Elements of Teja, Agni, are Krodha, hunger, Trisha, thirst, Alasya, lethargy, Nidra, sleep, Kanti, radiance. A person who has regimented his Vāyu and Ākāsha element will have a very radiant face. And those who have not regimented and disciplined their Vāyu element and their air element and also the Teja, the Agni element, they will not be having a very radiant face. Urjamayi. What does Urjamayi mean? It's a very radiant. Urja means very energetic. So, moving on, the 5 elements of Jala are Shukra, semen, Shonita, blood, Lara, saliva, Mutra, urine, Sweda, sweat. Now, these are the 5 formations which happen in the gross body. The blood, the semen, saliva, urine and sweat. See now, when we say body is made of 5 elements, you just heard and nodded like a donkey. No. Like a damsel, okay. Like a demigod, fine, whatever. But you never ever can go into this detail of how these 5 elements have subdivided and classified itself and are performing some very, very vital functionings in the gross body. The 5 elements of Prithvi are Asthi, bones, Masa, muscles, and Nadi, arteries, Tvacha, skin, Roma, pores. So are the Asthi, meaning the bones, muscle, arteries, skins and pores, are all elements of Prithvi element. So if you multiply all these 5 elements, so 5 into 5 is 25. So these 25 elements resulting from the interfusion of the 5 great elements. That's the how these 5 elements have formed this body and is running the whole system. Question: what does panchikrita, panchamahābhuta, gross version of the 5 great elements refer to? The 5 great elements that have undergone the process of panchikarana are termed as panchikrita, panchamahābhuta. What is Panchikaraṇa? Here comes the question, which was loosely mentioned in the 2nd chapter. Now, each of these 5 great elements are divided into 2 equal parts, leading to 10 parts in total. Now, this is some mathematics coming, so just be very attentive. Out of these, the first 5 parts of each element is kept as it is, while the remaining halves of each element are subdivided into 4 parts each. The subdivided 4 parts of each element are not merged with the main original element. Instead, each of these 4 subdivided parts are merged with subdivided counterparts of the remaining 4 elements, and this process is called Panchikaraṇa. Did you get it? Yeah? Did you get it? Doesn't seem like. Yeah? You can take it like, say there are, say 5 friends, and each of them have, say, 10 fruits: orange, banana, kiwi, pineapple, mango, right? So they keep 1/2 with them, meaning the 5. And the other is divided into the 4 other friends. So every friend gets 1 mango. I keep my 5 mangoes. Then the one who has pineapple keeps 1/2 with him, divides the rest into the 4. Now what happened now? I have my own major portion of those 5 fruits, but then I have 1 each given by these 4 friends. Simple. Question: what is the process of interfusion of the 5 great elements? Now, okay, the analogy is already there. I have said it. 5 friends bring along 5 different types of fruits and sit together to eat. Each one of them cuts their own fruit into 2 equal parts, keep the halved fruits with themselves. Remaining half is subdivided into 4 parts and shared with the other 4 friends. In this way, the 5 fruits get interfused with each other likewise. Now, Ākāsha is divided into 2 equal parts. One is kept safe with itself, and the other part is divided into 4 equal divisions which are not merged in Ākāsha. Now, what happened? One division goes to Vāyu, another to Teja, another to Jala, and another to Prithvi. Similarly, Vāyu is divided into 2 equal parts. One part is kept with itself, the other part subdivided into 4, and it gone to Ākāsha, Teja, Jal, and Prithvi. Likewise, Teja, the Agni, the fire, is divided into 2 equal parts. One part is with itself, the other part divided into 4, which are not merged in Teja, that is Ākāsha, Vāyu, Jala, and Prithvi. Likewise, Jala is divided into 2 equal parts, same thing, and same repetition will happen. You can do this, give a read to it. Likewise, the Prithvi does this division, and now this is what the whole process is. You might not get, what does this mean? Question: how did the 25 elements come into being from the 5 great elements? Answer: Each of the 5 great elements have their own main part, and remaining 4 parts are acquired from the other 4 elements. In this manner, each of the 5 great elements have 5 parts in total, and altogether they make 25 elements. Now, how do these 25 elements abide in the gross body? Say, you've given such a huge figure, 25 in one gross body. We always heard body is made of 5 elements, and now you're saying the 25. Now, let's go into it. You will come to know how. The elements of Ākāsha: Shoka, Kāma, Krodha, Moha and Bhaya. What is Shoka? Is the main part of, now there is a one main part of the element, and the other part is divided into 4. So when we will talk about Ākāsha, what is the major element? That is Shoka. Shoka is the main part of Ākāsha. On being depressed, the body feels empty. Any of you were ever depressed? Raise your hands, please. So I want some, you too, Brutus? So I need some affirmation when I speak this. You say that the body feels empty, just like Ākāsha. That Shoka is the main part of Ākāsha. Right? It feels empty. Kāma, part of Vāyu, is merged in Ākāsha. Desire brings vacillation, restlessness, and Vāyu is always in motion as well. Thus, this is the part of Vāyu. Vāyu, air. So, when the Ākāsha and Vāyu conjoin together, they will develop some kind of movement, vacillation, restlessness. So, Kāma is desire. So, any desire will give you what? What did I read just now? Keep your the thing in front of you, keep your device in front of you. So when the Vāyu and Ākāsha merge and desires will come in mind, what will desire give? Restlessness. Now here you say, oh, I want to meditate, but I can't. What is the problem, Guruji? Very simple. You have? Why? Because you have desire. Can you relate to this? If there is no desire, then there won't be any restlessness. That's what Bhagavad Gita says, Vihāya kāmān sarvām pumaścarati nispriya nirmamo nirahankaro sashanti mad adhigacchati. The one who is bereft of all the desires is the one who will be without any attachment, without any disturbance, and without any ego. And this person alone can achieve the great peace. Shantim adhigacchati. Will attain the peace. Krodha. The part of Teja is merged in Ākāsha. Body heats up upon rising of anger, and Teja too is hot. Thus Krodha, anger, is the part of Teja. So all these, the book is giving you the initial English meanings to the Hindi words, but in the text, we have omitted the English words because we want all our English audience to learn these Hindi, the Sanskrit words. So, Krodha, anger. So, what does anger do to the body? Does it get heat up? Aren't you boiling with anger? Or has become like a dog in anger? Is barking like an anger. It's a very favorite statement of especially husband and wife. So Krodha is the part of, because of the Teja and Ākāsha joining together. Moha. Part of Jala is merged in Ākāsha. Attachment, for example, father's attachment to his son spreads and flows easily, just as a drop of water outspreads. Thus Moha is the part of Jala, the water. It flows. Bhaya, fear. A part of Prithvi is merged in Ākāsha and body becomes heavy and motionless in fear. And by nature Prithvi too is motionless, thus Bhaya is the part of Prithvi. Now we are not talking about that earth is revolving around the axis, we do know that, but we are talking about not about the axis. So don't think that this Acharya had no understanding that the earth is revolving. But we are talking about the quality of the earth. When it stays, it doesn't move and is motionless, that is earth. And that which moves can be called water. But the day the earth, part of the earth begins to move, that is called earthquake. So the attribute of the earth is to stay motionless. So when Bhaya comes, fear comes. You know, you are walking in the garden and over here suddenly the snake appears in front of you. What will happen? Definitely Vāyu and Ākāsha won't merge at that time. The Prithvi and the Ākāsha will get merged and Ākāsha will make, you will go empty, can't think and then can't move and can't run and maybe can't even pray at that time. Until the snake maybe passes by and says, such a fiery person, I don't even want to look at you. You know, it slithers by. The 5 elements of Vāyu, prasarana, dhavana, valana, chalana, akunchana. Prasaran is the part of Ākāsha is merged in Vāyu. Prasaran means to expand. Ākāsha is expansive as well. Thus, this is the part of Ākāsha. To expand. Dhavan, that is the main part of Vāyu. Dhavan means to run. The word Dhavan refers to running and Vāyu too is in motion. Thus this is the main part of Vāyu. In villages, when these days when it's so hot, and they look out and say, not even a leaf is moving. Not even a leaf is moving, so hard. The movement comes from Vāyu. Valan. Valan is the part of Teja is merged in Vāyu. The word valana refers to activities such as bending, folding of limbs. And the flame too folds and flickers. Thus this is the part of Teja. See, when in asana, when you can't twist properly, it's because your body has more of earth element and less of fire element. When you can't fold your limbs or you can't bend. So when every day you keep on practicing little, bend, and finally you can bend. So this bending and folding, if you see any flame, say candlelight or in a fireplace, the flame is always flickering and moving here and there. So the fire in the body makes your body move in which direction? Now one was running, that was outward. One was twisting, that was in one position. But now it is talking about the movement of valana. Valana is like when you bend something. When you bend something, like all the seated asanas, where you twist your torso, and then you can't twist. You find it difficult to twist. Oh, I am stuck. And if somebody tries to forcefully twist you, you will break something. So the teacher will say you will have to work on yourself. So keep on moving a bit every day. Keep centimeter by centimeter, maybe millimeter by millimeter, and slowly. Now that part of the body which is having more of constriction is because there is no fire over there. So when we keep on doing a bit, so it's like igniting the flame over there, and the more it comes in, and then slowly that fire, what will fire do? Expand. Then the Valan would be Chalan. A part of Jala is merged in Vāyu. The word Chalana refers to walking, and water to exhibits drifting motion. Thus this is the part of Jala, water. Ākunchan. A part of Prithvi is merged in Vāyu. The word Ākunchan refers to contraction, and Prithvi too is compact. Thus, this is part of the Prithvi. Ākunchan is, like if I expand my fingers, this would be called what? But if I make a fist, then this will be called Ākunchan. You know, this is Ākunchan. So when you want to kick somebody, then you make a fist, Ākunchan, right? Now this has now more force. If you slap somebody, there is no Ākunchan, but what is there? Chalan and Prasaran both are there. So how much force comes in, that will be the fire, right? So that's how this intermingling of the elements of Vāyu are happening.